Hi Chirag, very good morning, and it was really it was really nice having this session with you, and like the PPT was really engaging, and it did justice to the topic. It was content light and quality heavy. So we just wanted to ask you a few questions if that's okay. So the very first question I want to ask you is that what is your favorite thing mentoring and interacting with students? Like what keeps you going?
Anubhav, sorry, I lost you there. What is my favorite thing about mentoring students is what you asked?
Mentoring and interacting with students, yeah.
Yeah, so the best part, as I said in the beginning itself, that for me, it's a two-way street, right? I more than giving uh, or sharing with students, I try to take back from them, right? So I'm very selfish that ways. The best part here is that I get very a different view, especially when I'm covering this topic on zillennials, because the generation that I usually interact with it with usually relates to it, and there are many points here which I feel to relate, and I try to inculcate those in my professional journey, right? So my key takeaway is always to have a key takeaway from these sessions. That's what I like the most. Second is followed by, yes, the energy that usually I've seen in these generations while interacting with me online as well is tremendous. I do not miss my offline interactions with them because I see equal amount of energy when I'm online as well.
Okay. Like as a people's manager, like you said that you were mostly interacting with probably millennials or Gen X when you were at office. So as a people's manager, how do you manage to change your approach while you are handling people from the different generations? Right? You might be having interns from the generation of zillennials or people who have just started with their career. So how
Yeah.
do you tend to change your approach while handling these people?
Yeah. So in my role, the beauty of this role is that I've always been on the fence where I advocate what my management is trying to bring into my employees, but at the same time, I also voice out what this part of employees are willing to have or willing to ask from leadership as well, right? So my role was always to change that language, be a little more diplomatic when it comes to coming up with certain policies, obviously in a positive way. So it wasn't very difficult for me to change the tone also when it comes to, or the approach when it comes to dealing with different or various generations, because I've always kept that switch on and off. It has been difficult in the initial stage, but when you connect with Gen Zs, I think you can bring in certain calmness based on your experience, and that is what they like. So they relate to us more if you are high on empathy and if you can understand what they're going through.
Right.
Wherein when you go to leaders, yes, it's different tone altogether. You try to be more matured, more professional, and you try to speak their language. But now I think I'm comfortable with that approach.
So that's nice. Yeah, Yuval Noah Harari like has mentioned in his book *Sapiens* that at some point of time in history we had more of a horizontal approach to learning, whereas like a vertical approach and a deep knowledge of one thing. So in the VUCA world, like what do you think is better, like being a specialist or being a generalist?
So I'm not covering my another topic here of self-directed learning. What is happening is that the trend right now is moving from generalist to being specialist a lot. Once you have a special skill in place, I think if you especially have the hot skill in place, Anubhav, what happens is that your demand is higher, right? So you, yes, it is good to be generalist, have that experience. If I'm in HR today, I would love to have experience of a little bit of comp and men and a little bit of training, a little bit of recruitment, right? And that makes my case even stronger compared to a specialist if I have to become a head of HR or a director HR, right? But at the same time, currently, especially in the initial part of your journey as young professionals, it is always preferred to be a specialist, because I have seen many people getting great number of jobs. I mean, great amount of compensation also, if you are keeping yourself in certain specialist domain. So start with being a specialist, I believe, and you always have an opportunity to become a generalist in the longer run.
Okay, so like, that's all from my side, and it was like really nice interacting with you, and it was like we learned a new thing and had a new perspective to things that we already knew. So it was really nice interacting with you, and we we appreciate you taking out time for connecting with us.
Thank you so much, Anubhav and team. Looking forward to many more such interactions. It was my pleasure too.